Hi, so I'm back with a video after quite a long time, but this time is going to be quite informal and quite train of thoughty, so kind of bear with me. But the overall kind of message that I'm gonna give in this video is that I'm most interested in pop music, as you might have seen from my past two videos, if you want to watch them. But a lot of the time, our perceptions of music theory ends up undermining the value or interesting stuff in pop music, because what do you think about when you hear music theory? You probably, potentially, think about harmony and rhythm and maybe texture or instrumentation, maybe dynamics or articulation. But predominantly harmony and rhythm, I would say, are two pretty dominant aspects of music theory, or what people think of first when you hear the term music theory. But I want to argue, basically, this isn't a new concept by any means. A lot of people also argue this sort of thing, and there's a lot of cool discussion around it within musicology. But I want to kind of bring forth a little mini discussion to do with pop music analysis specifically. And I feel like the ways that we view music theory does impact how we value pop music and pop music analysis. So whilst I was working, I met someone the other day and we were talking about my studies, and I'm a music student, so I was talking about my interest in music theory and popular music, and he instantly replied back, "Oh, I don't know how those two go together, but fair enough." But yeah, I feel like that comment that I heard is very reflective of people's ideas of what music theory is, in terms of it being basically harmony and rhythm. A lot of pop songs, the interesting stuff, yes, can be seen in rhythm and harmony, but also can be seen in other aspects, which are seen outside of kind of traditional analysis and specific quantifiable diagrams and numbers and labels, even though that's also valuable in itself. So I want to kind of talk about that. For example, a lot of music that I'm interested in has field recordings or samples in it, and those kind of offer, more atmospheres and vibes, I guess. A lot of ambient music will do that, and it's not each specific note that is valuable for analysis, but it's the general whole soundscape that you then are able to enjoy in a different way. It can be calming, or it can remind you of a specific place, or if you know where the field recording is from or a sample is from or where it references, it can remind you of a specific time or a specific author or a specific place. I think I already said that, but you get the picture. And how do you analyze that? You can't analyze each little fluctuation. So it's so easy to take a pop song that maybe has interesting samples or manipulates stuff with flanger or effects and stuff, and to go, oh, it's three chords, it's really simple, which is so unfair, because yeah, the harmony still might be interesting actually, but also what is also more interesting is maybe the production or the way that the band or artists are playing their music, playing their stuff. Also, the reasons that people listen to music goes way beyond just oh, good harmony, good rhythm. Again, that side of music theory is interesting, but there's so much room within music theory to talk about social aspects and historical reasons and identity reasons for listening to music. You might listen to a specific artist because you feel that you belong to a specific aesthetic subculture that is linked to how you live your life, which that if you start to think about that in relation to music analysis, and if we start to merge the two, then we can kind of start to have productive conversations about it. So basically, that's just the tip of an iceberg of thought of all kinds of music can have different interpretations, and it's not all completely just up to yourself to kind of make up your own meaning. There's also you can definitely objectively see patterns that exist that it's not just all like a soup that you can make up on your own. But also I think there's more room to broaden out our like narrow views of like what analysis can be, especially within pop music, because, you know, I think it's often painted as kind of lower brow culture, which is not always a bad thing, because I think there's kind of a joy in enjoying culture that isn't always supposed to be like really like bourgeois or whatever. But like also sometimes pop music isn't given credit where credit's due in terms of what's actually interesting when we're like picking it apart. It's not just 3 chords. So yeah, that's my thoughts, quite rambly. I'll see if I can edit this to be less train of thought vibes, but hopefully you enjoyed, and I'd love to hear some thoughts below. I don't know if this is controversial or whether everyone already kind of knows this and thinks this, but that's my thoughts. So thanks for watching. See you later.